Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome back to episode 85 in my Anno 1800 Let's Play. Now in the last episode, I sort of just got re-familiar with the save game, as it had been over a month since I'd last played it, but we did actually manage to hit a bit of a milestone. We got our tourists up to 5,000 here in the Iron Schlong Tower. Now I've done that before, but this time it seems like they can actually maintain it. Today, what I'm going to be focusing on is going north. We're going to the Arctic. There's a bit of a gas shortage across the lands. So we're going to be working on getting some new airships built. We got a plethora of influence in the bank, so we'll get some new airships built, figure out some trade routes, and expand one of the glaciers so we can cook ourselves up a new gas mine. But before we do, I've been hard at work at some little time lapses across the island, pockets of territories, pockets of districts that needed improvement, and I'm happy to say that they're coming together very nicely. And of course, we have a time lapse for that. Roll the tape. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in, grab your popcorn, maybe a cup of tea, although it is summer. Although some people, like to do that. My girlfriend is one of those freaks that drinks tea even on a hot day. Some say it actually cools you down more. Anyway, I digress. We have a lengthy time-lapse for us here, an eclectic time-lapse, as we're going to be jumping around to multiple parts of the town. This is really one of those time-lapses where I go, we got to catch up. Many episodes ago, I said, this'll do for now. And now it's time to actually catch up with that and fix it and bring it up to the standard of the rest of the town. So that's what the next few time lapses are going to be in general, going over all those places where I said, yeah, this'll do for now. It's just a big grid of crap. So we want to actually make that look good. And the first thing is obviously doing this zoo. So this zoo is the zoo that's needed to bring us up to 11,000 attractiveness, which activates a prestige level inside of the palace. That prestige level gives us an additional range to our power plants and a few other things too. And that is allowing our gas power plant to reach full coverage of the high-rise side of the city. So it's imperative that we maintain that 11,000 attractiveness. So I've done that for a while, and this zoo is kind of interesting actually because it only has one set. And I think the set is, I can't quite remember the name, but it has things like the great white gorilla in there, the albino alligator, and albino everything, I think, pretty much. There's like 6 animals. They're all really rare. I think 5 of them are legendary status, so 50 attractiveness each. Anyway, activating that gives you a 20% to all zoos everywhere. But not just that, every other animal I chose to use is actually a legendary level 50 attractiveness animal, but they're not part of any set. So we got one set and then there's all rare animals. So it's a shame. I never really thought to, in this episode, go through and have a look at them, but they're really quite cool. So maybe in a future episode we'll just take a minute to have a look at some of the animals in this one in particular, because we never really did. Anyways, it's a pretty straightforward zoo, really. I just kind of tried to break everything up where I could. Obviously I'm tight for space, constrained for space, so there's not that much I could really do with it to make it really stand out, but I wanted to bring in that pathway I often do bring in with the other zoos and things we have. I think it's nice to kind of have that across the board, and also you can change the pathway to add in little seating and lights every now and then when you want. It's there's 6 modules to it. The 6th module is the one that does it. Anyway, that's going to be pretty much it for the zoo, but we'll pull back at the end of this and have a quick, kind of a nicer look at it as well. Tidied up the variety theater over by the tourists, and now by the tourists as well, we have this kind of additional cafe or restaurant, to be specific here, building a bit of a market stall over to the side of it, and then one of those underground passages that leads into the engineer district. I could imagine that a lot of people use that to take the underground passage to kind of come out. Got a nice bus station over by here, encapsulating that cafe, helping all the tourists get from point A to point B if they want to come out of their hotels to here, but they're too lazy to walk. And I was kind of experimenting around with using the enclosed, I don't know, greenery that came with the oh man, I'm losing my mind. I can't remember what pack that came with. Oh, the pedestrian zone pack, that's it. Because it looks really nice, but it doesn't really work as a fence. I was going to use it almost as a fencing, because I feel like I use the same fence everywhere. Anyway, what I'm doing right now is they added in a recent update the ability to use the cherry blossoms, or all the different types of trees, as you can see, in the forest painter tool. So you don't have to use the individual ornament to put the cherry blossoms down. So I deleted them all because they were all hand placed before, and now they're more painted, I guess. Anyways, that's that. A little bit of tidying up over by the artisans, etc. But here is now where I'm adding an additional museum. Didn't really plan on doing this, but I decided to beef it up a little bit more and add 3 extra modules, so it's going to add another 30 influence. Unlike the zoo, all the modules in that we get for free because we have that, I think is it because we have the Gods of the Delta thing right here? It's something, I can't remember now, it's been too long, but it might be that Gods of the Delta that does it actually. If not, it's something else that gives us free zoo modules. in terms of influence costs, but we don't have that for museums. So we've got to be a bit more careful with what we put in here. So this museum, the idea was that it should be actually built off of the Scholar District to an extent. Like, all of this is part of the sort of the official palace, right? The palace grounds has the botanical garden at the front. It has this super large aquarium at the front because we are coastally facing, for the palace at least. And then it's like they have their own sort of the best of the best museum is within the palace, but then there's almost a secondary one outside for the scholars to kind of come along and visit as well. So the theme I went with was, we kept the gods of the Delta because that's just, I need it. But then the other one I went with was the Mesoan harbor and the Mesoan stones on the ground and stuff. So I don't know, I just thought it was cool. They're all like obviously unique modules. I could have picked anything, and it was just more just for aesthetics than anything. And I think these ones look really, really good. I did want to kind of separate out from what we have in the center of the museum, or in the palace. There is a lot of the Roman ruins that are kind of positioned there, and the Greek temples and stuff. So this one's a bit different. It's more the ancient Americas, I guess, the Mesoans, and I think Mesoans is ancient America. Apologies if it's not. But anyway, I think it looks great, so decided just to make that its own sort of theme out here. So it's a bit more spacious, and it's a bit more almost, I don't know, it almost feels like higher class. It might be more expensive to come to this zoo. So I was trying to put ornaments in it that might reflect that. And then outside of it, I built the Anno Tours area, and then a sort of the bus stop, so you can obviously get to it nice and quickly. And it's at the back of these sort of engineers, the sort of scholarly engineers that we have here. So I'm just doing a bunch of tidying up now. This is probably going to be just really jarring, jumping all over the place, but effectively, we have a windmill there that makes a little bit of flour for some of the restaurants. So wanted to kind of clear that area, push the fire station out, push the windmill a bit further out, and just build this little area as a sort of mini tourist trap for people to come visit the museum and the different places. But then also move those worker buildings just further into the mountain and kind of close it off with a fence. Then I was just upgrading the engineers, bringing them all back to where they should be, and then just building the last of the artisans that I needed to. In here, sort of just went with your standard drink stand and a couple bar tables and things like that. As I think, and then on the opposite side is just food, I think, yeah, and a couple tables as well for people to get their food. I don't think I really did too much else with it. Got a photography nook, which is always quite nice, a little band stand where people are playing music. But not the official museum one, just the kind of smaller one. The music's kind of quite silly, actually, to be honest. I wish you could almost change that music. And then at the back, there's just a bunch of hedges and then also toilets for people to relieve themselves while they're, like, walking around, I guess. And a lovely big fountain. That big fountain came from the Skyline Tower investor sort of ornaments that came with that DLC. Really quite nice. Probably the nicest looking fountain in the game, in my opinion. So yeah, this is where I'm just changing up the windmill and the farmer stuff. So I was kind of playing around with the worker resources, but I can never make it look good. Like, it doesn't blend with the grass very well, just hard concrete. So I decided to wall off the area and make it its own enclosed. Like, there's a little mine here, a little fire station to look after the windmill, and it's just like people come in and they drop in. There's crates of bread and grain and everything just to be stored here for the windmill to make its stuff. And then I was just trying to get rid of some trees on the thing, and I decided just get rid of them all. It looks quite nice. Like, that would be well-kept grass, I feel like. Or at least it's fairly well-kept. It's still a little wild. And I think that's almost kind of it. Now it's just really, like, last little pieces around the place. So in the colorful artisan town, I was just really zooming in, trying to get rid of some of the extra grass that I just put down sort of as a temporary thing, and have more built-up stuff in the more built-up areas, I guess. So again, always just struggling to kind of look through different things and see what could be added in here to add a bit of variety too. I actually cut a lot of that out because there's so much trial and error over there, but it does look much better when you go back to it now. But I think for regular viewers, it should be hard to kind of notice any real difference unless we spent time walking around. Actually, I haven't walked around in a while. It might be fun to do that soon. Okay, so the time lapse now is coming to an end. In the tourism sector, there's obviously this town hall in the center, which affects purely hotels. So in this one, I wanted to be more tourism focused. I was trying to make it look all dapper and rich, wealthy, you know, whatever the word for that would be, by having those sort of carved hedge bushes on the sides. But I think I ultimately get rid of them, decide to carve a path all the way through it, and I have a souvenir shop and like loads of luggage and stuff. This is sort of a place where people are dropped and then they're told, yeah, you're in that hotel or, you know, you're in whatever the hotel is or where you're planning on going. So it's sort of like where I feel like a lot of people would get dropped off, as they're sort of at the Bureau of Information in the center here, where you can talk to the 3 different characters we have in there that is really squeezing the extra people into the hotels and squeezing more out of them as well, getting their consumption down. So I was just messing around with the different fountains. I ended up going again with the Skyline Tower fountains, which look really, really good. And they're sort of modular, and the way they can be built is quite nice. They're not limited by any number. Oh yeah, I realized I've only, on the Twitch drops page, I've only ever got the one Twitch drops. It's the first time I ever missed one, so I'm missing an item now. I had there's 2 Twitch drops for the recent DLC, right? Seeds of Change. I only got 1. I'm kind of livid that I missed out on one. It's really going to irk me. And that's basically it. So here's a nice little view of everything. Alrighty, so I'm very excited to see what people have to say about these various little areas. They're sort of just like little touch-ups, all these little things that I'd left, as I famously say, for now. Finally have to go back and actually try and touch them up and fix them up. This has been just an empty kind of blank zoo for a very, very long time, and then this area I'd never really known what to do with it, but I think adding on the museum here across from the scholars and the sort of scholar engineers that I sort of have, I think that's quite a nice location for it, and it's a bit more spacious and dedicated to just a few. It has its own theme, you know, and I quite like that. It's kind of like our botanical garden has its own theme, and then we have our sort of aquarium focused zoo out here. Anyways, so at the moment I've got a airship. An airship is on the way down to the island of Lusk. It's actually just about to arrive, and we're going to pack that with a bunch of things that we're going to need. So to make airships we need steam motors, we're going to need some sails, and we need to also just bring some wood with us as we go up there. So let's head now to the Arctic. Let's go to King William Island and get a move on. Now while that's doing its thing, there were some comments of people saying like, it's been so long, you know, maybe a bit of a reintroduction to the islands that we've got up and running, which I think is a good idea because this is going to take a little while to get there. So very, very quickly we'll just go over what islands we have, what islands Arthur has, and the one island that Benty has. So we'll try to do it as quickly as possible. So of course we have our main hub island here of Swords, mostly finished in how it's going to be built. You know, we've got our giant palace, all the botanical gardens and amenities around that, and the scholars living in and amongst the palace grounds, the museum in the center, and our lovely sort of bush statue of us, Hans von Schlong, presiding over this gorgeous island of Swords. Then we have our sort of central park district. You know, all the engineers largely live out here. We have our nightlife center along the docks, our docklands. So at nighttime this place lights up with all the sort of neon. Looking quite cool. Absolutely loving that. Like I said, I'm going to go through it quickly, so I can't spend too long in any one area. We've got our, obviously, docks out here, where we have packed all of the oil drills and mines, or whatever, pumps, really, that were dotted all across the island. We relocated them all to one place. The same with the quarry pits, so they're all kind of now in the same place, alongside the mine shafts here. So it's a very nicely kept little industrial area. Going to go over with some of those industrial ornaments, or at least I hope to, when we get that pack. Actually, by the time this video comes out, the pack is probably like releasing today or just has. So in the next episode, I should have it. We can mess around with it then. Then, of course, we have our tourism sector, right? So this is the sort of eclectic artisan cliffs. We've had the artisan cliffs over on the other side, which we'll take a look at in a moment, which I really haven't touched since maybe episode 5 or something. It's crazy. That's like the one area that is just done and has not changed. But this one, since the Vibrant Cities pack came out, I was able to skin these as, you know, really vibrant colors, and I think that's sort of like an attraction in and of itself. That's why I thought it would work off of the tourists, off of the big zoo that we have here now, dotted around some of those cherry blossom trees, and it really makes the place like this, like, famous, like, you know, it's like, come to Swords and visit the eclectic, vibrant city of whatever. This mini city would have to give it its own little district name, I guess. You can name it in the comments if you want. Then we have our other part of the tourism sector. It's all surrounding the Iron Schlong, the Iron Schlong Lady Marmalade restaurant. So we have our Lady Marmalade thing at the moment, giving us reduced consumption of coffee, bread, and chocolate, and then obviously bonus residents 10% all across the board. And then we have our Mega Docklands as well. Absolutely love this thing. It's maxed out pretty much to the max. The only one bigger than this is the one down here at my factory island of Lusk. And yeah, that's kind of it. You know, I won't spend too long. This area is just not done yet. This is our high life area. Obviously, we've got rising skyscrapers and kind of shopping districts, but it's not perfect. Has to be kind of, it's a real tough one, you know. Making the tall buildings look good, I find that to be very, very challenging. So I'm working on it, but we have our Skyline Tower in the very center, 4,005 residents, maxed out, loving life, all the different... The only way you do that is by having all these different shopping arcades. So I'm very happy about that too. And then we have our lovely sort of amusement park in here. We have the High Flyer, little roller coaster and stuff like that. Lots of drink stands and ice cream and all of that stuff. So I think the place is looking great. This hospital probably has to move. And then we have our Artisan Cliffs, right? And that's kind of the final thing of this island. So won't spend too much longer on that. The next one we have is right across. And right across from it, this island is also like half done. I'd say this section is done and this section is not. But it's basically just our workers and artisans island. There are some farmers that live out here too. So on the island of Swords, the big island here, there's actually no farmers and no workers working here at all. We use a commuter pier, of course, to move our workforce between islands. So this place is strictly artisans, engineers, and investors, and I guess tourists as well with the hotels. But this island then is kind of more home to all of the different... And I love this part of the island. I think it looks really, really good. It took me a long time to get it together, but multiple time lapses, I think it's really come together in a nice way. There's still a few little changes I want to do, and the vibrant cities I kind of want to paint some more houses, because these are actually artisans, you know. We've got a kind of spotting of both red and black houses interspersed across each other, if that makes sense. Don't know what the other way to say that is. Anyways, so yeah, so that's got that kind of area, and then we've got like lovely Cherry Blossom Park in it, and so on and so forth. Right, so that's basically what that island is. Then we have our island down at Scaries, which we looked at in the last episode. This place largely just makes grapes, known for its grapes, known for its famous vineyards, and its celebration of those vineyards now with its wine festival ornaments that we got from the seasonal decorations pack. God, there's so much DLC. We're DLC'd out of our minds over here. Then we have the island of Malahide. I love this island too. The idea for this one when we were first building it was to create little pockets of disconnected towns. And I did, and it's never really changed since then, essentially. So we've got this sort of more industrial little town over here, although I must say that the Cherry Blossom probably doesn't fit that quite strongly enough. Maybe I could relocate that back to the other island in future. Then they have their own little docks. It's a much smaller docklands, and they kind of have a similar sort of thing going on over here with their oil industry, and I think I said that the industrial pack I'll probably use over here too. And then the last island that I have here is basically the factory island of Lusk. This island is just strictly here for strong amounts of output, high output of various different things. It's got a massive docklands full of stuff. We're exporting steel, I think, and gold as our primary exports here, so that's just bringing in loads of stuff for us. So that's basically it. Now, before I have a look around more islands, we'll just quickly go back to the north, see if we've arrived there yet. We actually haven't. Wow. Okay, it is going to take a while. Well, the plan basically is to kind of build out this way and start setting up these gas mines, but we need more materials. But we could kind of start the houses growing now. I think we've got enough for that. So let's just see. So the gas mine is going to be... It needs to be heated. So we'll start with the gas mine about here. It has to include all those areas there. So something like this might be fine. We'll just blueprint it for now. Move this, I guess, over this way. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, about there. Just to give enough room for housing on the right, all the way up to the cliff. Something like that. So, effectively, the demands of expanding a town in the Arctic is that you're going to have to need more coal. Now, we've only got one heater here. It's pretty nicely managed, I think. Everything is surrounding... Like, this heater touches on everything it needs to be able to provide everything. So, we have to make another one, because we need to heat the gas mine, the people that work there. So, we need a heater that's going to be at least not too far from that. It's got to be somewhere like there. And then what we can do on top of that is add in a post office. Yes. Post office kind of fits nicely to each other. And then we can go with a canteen. And then just wrap that with a road. And then put houses all around it. So that's going to be the idea. Now, I'm not sure how many we're going to need. I reckon no more than... Well, let me work it out. It's 250 and we have 16 per house. So we get 16 people per house, because we're still not going to hit this number. We could, though, maybe. If we wanted to really push the expansion, we could try to even set up down there. We could do that if we activate the Husky sleds. And as far as I know, Huskies are actually being delivered here. Because we have a lot of them. Yeah, 250 just stored here. Kind could be done. But I say let's just do it slow and steady first. Let's start off with just expanding this small bit first, and then we'll see if we want to push it to get even more gas. I think this gas mine, these 3, will be enough to do what we need to do. Now, we've actually just arrived here with our red barn. The sails and the steam motors are here for us creating more airships. We'll take some of the wood and bring it to our island. So while we're here, we can make some of these now. Oh, we need to bring back gas, actually. Interesting. Maybe we'll just prevent picking up gas here for a while. Or we could just get some in the old world. Actually, yeah, we're going to have... Oh, damn, I didn't really think about that. Okay, when we come here, we'll drop off the wood. We'll go back. We'll fetch some gas. We'll bring it up here. And then we can just start commissioning new airships. Because we're going to need a couple of new ones. And they only cost 4 influence. We got 90 now, so I think we'll be fine. Right, so... Next up then is... So this is all our amenities for technicians. And then I think... So yeah, if I want... I'm just going to break out the calculator real quick. As I often do. So 250 divided by 16. So we need about 15 houses. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16? Something like that. Can't really make houses up here look very nice, but this will have to do. So let's start off with the amenities first. Get everything up and running. We also need a warehouse, of course. Tuck it right in there. Ship's not here yet. Sorry, I thought it would be. Also want to pick up some items for these airships, but that's going to require getting lost expedition scrap, and that'll take a while. We might maybe grab some during this episode, but I'll probably do it in between episodes, so it's not so boring, just moving back and forth finding it. It's kind of random. Okay, let's expand. Boom. All the houses are built. Once this gets its first delivery out here, which is interesting. Actually, it's a quite long distance it has to go, but it looks like it doesn't have a problem doing it. We'll have to see how the coal holds up. But this is why I want new airships, so we can make sort of like a coal delivery route with the airships. I was very stingy with the routes up here. I don't know if people remember, but if we go to the Arctic, the routes go back and forth between islands multiple times. So I really maximized the use I got out of the airships, I think. I actually feel like it all works, so I'm pretty happy about it. But it is messy. It's super, super messy. But now, with the added addition of like several new airships, I think we'll be fine to be able to do this properly. Clean up all these old mistakes. So let's send this back to Swords. We'll just go back, we'll grab the gas, and then we'll come back right up here. Now, so yeah, everyone's cold right now, but that's alright. We'll deliver it. This guy's going to deliver the 10 coal. Skiing along. And once they get that, they should all start working, and we can build a gas mine, and we can improve these houses. Alright, so let's have a look. While we're waiting for them to grow and everything, we can come back to our little tour of the old world, as it were. So those are all the islands. You know, we have the radar down the bottom right. So just to recap, this big one here is Swords. That's our main home. We have Rush, our sort of worker and farmer island. We then have Skerries, which makes the, which is really our vineyard. We then have Malahide, our pocket towns, where we have several little small towns. They don't really do that much. We just have that as an island. Doesn't really produce anything that it needs. That we need. And then we've got Lusk, our factory island with everything on it. We also have this small one called Knoll. And Knoll is the name of the village where I grew up in Ireland. Basically, this was an island that I took as a sort of a testing ground, because we got the reefer ship, which can go between regions faster than normal ships can. And that came with Docklands. So the reefer ship, I was like, oh, it'd be cool if we owned this island here, and then we'll deliver things to this island, and we'll just send reefers between the other places. But the reality is that reefers just aren't that fast between islands. Like, it really doesn't... Like, 2 ships... For the influence cost, you could just have 2 ships and it does the same thing. But I think it carries even more. So it never really was that useful. So I'll probably abandon this island at some point. I know that there were some people that were like, oh, just try to do a micro build or something on it. Maybe, I don't know. It's not really my thing, but maybe. It could be fun to try to sustain these guys with something and just like build something here, a little haven of even just, I don't know, one investor, or you could have like artisans, or you could have just a total farmer village. You could do it if you wanted just that added random challenge, but I'm just not that excited about trying to do something like that personally. So to go over Arthur's islands, most of his islands are just barren. They don't really have much on it. We claimed most of these when we took out Lady Hunt in our wars. They used to be owned by Lady Hunt. Does he have a skin on these? Yeah, I think he does, doesn't he? These are like the... It's not the normal worker skin, is it? Can't remember anymore. Looks like he's got the one of the skins on. I don't know. Anyways, Lady Hunt owned most of these islands, and then when we were taking them out systematically, Arthur was just kind of capturing them behind us. And I didn't mind that. We weren't at war, and I just gave up the islands because I didn't have the influence to maintain them. But he's never done anything with them either, so it's just kind of sat there. He's sort of, as an AI, hit his limit. He's not really growing or building anymore. He just claims my shares every now and then, but that's it. So he's got plenty of room to expand, and yet he doesn't. And he took Benty's capital island. This is Benty's home island at the beginning of the game, and he took that not too long ago and never really did anything with it, so he's pure evil. We could check out his home island, though. His home island is thriving. By the way, if I sound different today or whatever, it's because literally today when I was streaming, my headphones just broke. Like, one of the cups just snapped. They're quite expensive headphones. I'm very disappointed with it, that happening. I'm going to try to have to glue them back together. Anyways, I'm using, like, AirPods now. But I gotta say, the noise cancellation is so strong. I can't really hear myself, and it just sounds very different, so I'm probably sounding a bit weird. I might be just slurring all my words, I don't know. Anyway, apologies if I sound a bit different. I'll try to fix it by the next one. Anyways, Arthur's island, super uniform. He builds that utopian type of island or whatever. He always builds in... It's cool, because the AIs have different personalities and how they build and everything. So he always builds in those sort of like rectangles with open grass in between. So that's his home island, so we'll have fun taking that out one day, I have no doubt. Alright, let's go back to the Arctic. Let's see how we're breeding. I guess that's the word I wanted to use. I was going to say growing, but I just said breeding. There you go. Alright, anyway, 8 out of 10. We're almost there. Almost there. Okay, let's check the new world then.
You can trust me.
So, in the new world, we have Benty's only island at the moment. So, her only island in the entire game. The only reason she's even in the game is because this island was never taken. And for some reason, even though Arthur was at war with her, he just kind of peaced out with her and never tried to take her final island. So, that's good, because for a long time we had a fleet stationed out here to help her survive. But we didn't need to. She's managed to survive on her own, albeit with just one island. Now, in the new world ourselves, we've got 4 islands. So these 4 here in the corner. Pretty good ones to get, actually, because they're right on the right side, you know, for where we come in. So basically, we have our island of Porta Banús. This is our sort of first main island. Our biggest population is here, I think. 1,600 obreros, 840 jornaleros. And then we've got a pretty thick industry here, all based off of this sort of trade union, boosting everyone we can, getting a bunch of cotton, getting a bunch of coffee, and all the chemical plants and stuff that we use with tourism. The tourist season DLC all comes from here as well. The small island is a caoutchouc only island. All it does is make caoutchouc. And then we have our island of Guadalmina, which not too long ago, a few episodes ago, we completely overhauled. Looks awesome now. Possibly my favorite island here, in conjunction with Marbella. I think it looks really, really good. Not just in terms of looks, it's quite fairly efficient for what it is. As well, as you can see, it's just maxed out with like loads of orchards and all these different animal farms. It would get loads of fertilizer out of this place as well. It's quite good. And then we have Marbella. So Marbella is, well, it's actually, let's check. Yeah, population wise, its total is 2,400, and this one is 2,400 as well. So it's equal in size to Porta Banús, but it has much more jornaleros rather than obreros. So the lower class, or the first class citizen, well, second class citizen, I guess, if you want to class them that way. So basically, in this place, we have just tons of orchards, loads of factories making things. This one's just insane. We've got like Gennaro Garibaldi, the chocolatier by royal appointment, making extra sugar and rum from all of these buildings. Just like crazy, crazy output, I think. At least for me, anyway. So lots of stuff coming out there. Then we moved all the sort of oil down this way just to keep it all under one refinery. So it's all under just one thing now. And then just orchards everywhere else, just maxed out with camphor wax. To be honest, they probably need to be picked up with better, more ships or something. And then we just have our sort of almost industrial farms out here. We have sugarcane through the roof. Again, a trade union just smashing sugarcane like crazy. It goes up to like 290 or something, I think. Productivity, so quite good. I did see on Reddit recently I occasionally browse Reddit, or it pops up for me at least, where someone had like 800% on a coffee plantation. I was like, jeez. But yeah, they were living life. Anyway, so that's kind of all my islands, really, the ones that are most important to me. Well, we could go through the tour of the other ones in a moment too. Why not? Basically, Arthur's Islands, we fought for some of these, and he ended up just getting them after we killed Lady Hunt. So, again, it's just Arthur for the other half, and then just Benty for this one. If we have a real quick look in Crown Farms, actually, we'll go back to the Arctic. We'll just upgrade our boys. So these can all upgrade now. Alright, so we're now up to 166. So what we can do is just build this. Oh, something else actually, before we get to this, is we need the ranger stations. Just in case there's any fires or problems. Get a ranger station somewhere nearby. Maybe if we just go like this. Might be nice just to pop it out here. And I'll just put another one near the mines. Keep an eye on it. Alright, and that'll help put out fires and help with the Arctic flu, etc. Yeah, so let's build a gas mine now. So it needs this, this, and this. And there we go. So we're in the negative right now, but it should catch up. And I think most of the food and things is going to be just fine. I think we produce almost enough of everything. I mean, if we check Arctic only and go consumer goods, I know that I am short, on some goods like the parkas, sleeping bags as well. That was actually the case even before I just did this upgrade. So nothing is really going to be a problem, I don't think. Maybe some of the things we're delivering from the other islands, so we'll just have to keep an eye on it. But I think with improved trade routes, I could maybe squeeze more things out and try to get the parkas and the sleeping bags up too. It's not that important, because ultimately it's just for their heat. They're not that cold, you know. They could be colder, or warmer, I guess. But they're not that cold. They rarely go into flu and stuff, so I think they're fine. It's part of the job, really, to be a little chilly. I think that's understandable. But yeah, what are we up to now? 646. I don't think we're going to breach the 750 mark, which means we're not going to gain the extra 4 per household. But I'm okay with that. Not looking to. If I was looking to, we'd build a road, go down there, get another gas mine set up, but it would need its own coal heating down there. And I just feel like I don't know if I can manage that coal. I'm not sure. We'd have to check how it's going in the Arctic, but it's a bit messy to check. So just to back up while we're waiting for those houses to grow now. You can see our lovely seals. While we're waiting for those houses, we'll just quickly check. So in Cape Trelawney, I purposefully didn't really want any islands here, and I never even really wanted this one. So I said that when I was going to colonize it, I was like, okay, I'm not going to do what everyone does, which is just build a big city here. I know lots of people want that and say that they want me to do that. It's not going to happen. I just don't want to do that. Because just everyone else does. You just check any other Anno YouTuber, they'll do it. And I'm sure they do it great. But for me, I thought it'd be much more interesting to have like the people live on these little broken up islands. It's a more challenging build, I guess. But then also to turn the place into what I was calling for a long time like stately farms, or state farms, or big industrialized farms. And there's so much space here. I didn't even nearly use any of it. Like I reserved all of this space for it, and I was like, we've never used it. I've never needed to. Granted, I'm sure if you wanted to push your population hard and way higher, maybe we could use it then. I don't know. But for farms, you're only making stuff for the lower tiers anyway, most of the time. So, not too sure. But when the industrial pack comes out, I'm going to kind of overhaul the look of this area. I don't think I'll change the buildings or anything. It's still doing a great job making what it makes. And it's quite efficient. We also, of course, not to forget, have our little farmer village out here by the lake, which I love. This place took a while to make as well, and they're having a little parade right now. They're looking good. But yeah, I remember we did a big expansion to get a few more, and then I never did anything with them. Actually, looking at it, it seems like we could get rid of some of these houses. Well, I'll leave them for now. But yeah, they must have been there for something. Don't know. Must have gotten rid of them for some reason. Or some of their buildings, maybe. These things are all offline, for instance. So maybe for some reason they're not working anymore. This is one of the first farms we built as well, which is great. The kind of cliffside, golden acres. The golden wheat fields with all the little pockets of houses living out in there. And the idea always was to have these windmills turning on the edges of the cliff. Just thought that was such a cool aesthetic. Still really happy about it. It's been nice looking over this stuff. I haven't looked at these things in such a long time. It's nice to get the perspective on it. Anyway, the only other 2 islands then we have this one here, Drumcondra. And Drumcondra is just like a tiny little island I used for fur. Don't really need it anymore because I think I boosted fur like crazy. I'm back on that island rush. I totally forgot. We do also own this island here, Donna Bait. And the reason for this one was this was going to be the secondary to the Reefer Island, right? The Reefer Island of Null. So I was thinking like, oh, how cool would it be if you just had all your reefers going right between. They're always in between regions, you know, maxed like as efficiently as possible. They're at their max speed when they're between regions. So the shortest distance possible between 2 islands is like here and the other island on the out here, right? So it's right on the edge of the map. So this one just literally just trails off and comes in on here. And then this island is going to be, excuse me again, a sort of a big hub for delivering things around. But it just never really happened. I never really needed it, so it just never really happened. It was a cool idea, I thought. But it's kind of a waste of an island. We just have 2 small islands not doing anything. And then the very last one would be Hunt's End. This was the final island belonging to Margaret Hunt, which is why it's called Hunt's End. And all this island does for us is make wood. We just get timber from here. Raw timber before it's made into planks. And we just ship it wherever we need to. And that's all it does. It's just a big island for space. Then, we of course have the Arctic, but we'll just quickly look at Embesa. Embesa is fairly simple. We've got 4 islands down here. It's kind of a theme, actually, for me. Like, in the Arctic, we've got 4. In the New World, we've got 4. And here, we've got 4. And technically, in Cape Trelawney, we've got 4. I don't know why I've always done that, but that's just the way it's always worked out. Anyways, this is a great island. This is our island of Tabarim. Of course, tied to the story, you do start here when you first go here. But I love this island. Hate to be patting myself on the back so much, but it just came. It's probably my most natural-looking city, I think, that I did in the series so far. And basically, it's just a sort of a, you know, we've got like the little pockets of villages as they kind of get more and more built up as we go. And then that's where the canal sort of reaches the town. And then we've got the elders as we get further into it. So I'm just really happy with how it came together. We've got that temple in the middle of the sort of canal lake. And you can hear them banging their drums in there, going crazy. We have this sort of open, I guess it's like open pit music and fireplaces, and the market is right here and everything. It all just like kind of fits really seamlessly. Like I look at this and I'm like, I actually don't even know where buildings begin and end sometimes, which is really difficult to do when you're building on a grid. And then we have the sort of library, right? We have the scholars in here, or the equivalent of working on tapestries, is it? I can't even remember what they're called. So we mix indigo with paper, and then we make illuminated manuscripts. Yeah. And that's just like a random kind of workshop building, but I decided to put it in the town just because I thought it looked like it belongs in a town. You know, it's sort of like a library that you can see into. And then we have a hospital and all sorts. So a really cool island. Then we have our sort of industrialized canals and farms here, bringing modernity to the island of Tabarim and Embesa in general. And then just, yeah, using canals to get a bit more out of the land. Never even needed to irrigate the soil in a lot of these places. And then we basically just have 3 other islands. You know, we've got this one, which is Bird's Eye. It mostly makes spices, from what I understand. Spices, and then some of our indigo. Also looks quite good. It's very densely packed, I remember. And then we have this one here, which is Zula Bilen. I can't remember why it's called that. Maybe it's just what it was called when we got it. This place just basically makes paper, I think, right? Oh, it's clay, because the other place makes paper. I think that's all it does. Yeah, it's just clay. That's all I came here for. And then this one's Lobster Island, Rock Lobster. So it just makes pretty much is focused all on lobster. And that's basically it. So obviously Arthur has every other island here, but I mean, it's just not built up at all. You can see on the map, it's just like one road and literally just a market, you know? So I don't know what he was thinking, but that's it really. That's kind of all the islands. So how's Standelsbreen now? This was named by a viewer a long time ago as well, actually.
Well, we're not dead yet.
So there we go. Hey, I nailed it. The calculator works. So now we're making extra gas. So the whole reason I wanted to do this, I should have shown it at the beginning, was basically that if we go to construction material, turn on all islands, and we look at gas now, we're at 7. We're producing 7, but consuming 6. So we're just slightly overproducing now. If I just turn this off real quick.
Don't touch any knobs.
Actually, I just remembered. We sent our ship back to pick up gas, and I never did. So let's just get it right now. There we go. 150. Bring that with us. We'll make some new airships. Okay. Anyways. So yeah, so if we just turn that building is off now. So it's like we never built it, you know. So if we just have a look at all islands now, we were actually just slightly below the demand for gas. Only slightly. Like very, very marginally. At least in the old world. So that is 4 gas mines that are active, costing 6 tons per minute. Now, I had a 5th one that I wanted to activate. And the goal was to activate it, or have it active. And it's this one here. So this one's not even on. So let's turn that one on.
Start the machines.
There's no gas here because we were slowly, very, very slowly running out. Like so slowly that it took literally like 20, 30 episodes before we felt it run out. But now with that turned on and this turned on, I think that's going to be enough to deliver everything. Oh, I guess it's not. We're at 6 out of 8. So it's going to go to 8 consumption and we're currently making 7. Damn, really? I thought I worked it out beforehand, but I guess not. I guess that is it. So if we want to keep Cape Trelawney's gas on and not have them use coal, we're going to have to push this even further. We've just added 250 population. We're going to add another 250. So I think the way to do that is basically just add a couple of extra houses, and that should push it to 250 when the Huskies activate. So all we need to do is get like, I don't know, 4 or 5 more houses, and that should be it. So let's do that. That'll be our next goal. Let's try this. Okay. Gotta use every bit of heat we have. Okay, I think that probably is enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be 40. So it's going to be 80 more people. And with 80 people, that should push us to 750. And then our population is going to boom when we get 4 added to every single house. And then we could reduce the houses until we hit that nice sweet spot of where we need it to be. So similar to Hopefell, the reason I was able to get this number down, it's a really great tip for those who just started the game or just playing it now still. It's just something I never really even thought about until I was like halfway through playing this, which was, I don't need any of the class below. We don't need any explorers. We only need technicians here. So just get it to the number you need it and then cut out all the other houses that are irrelevant at that point. There's no point having explorers on a glacier, right? So you might as well just cut them out. And then all you have to do is just make sure you have 750, and then you'll always have all the demand, like all the goods met. And that's as many houses as you need. So to get to 750, you might have built so many houses that you go all the way up to 1,000, but then just get rid of the 350 that you don't need anymore, and that will stay permanently unlocked. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's like as you're building houses to get to that 750, like we're seeing over here, in order to get to the 750, right, we're at 699 right now. Actually, sorry, we're only at 688 because we have to get actual technicians. So to get to 750, we're probably going to go way above 750 as soon as we unlock that threshold, but then you can just reduce it back down. As long as you stay over 750, it doesn't matter how many houses you're using. Right, anyway, I'm rambling on. Hopefully, I'm sure you do get it. Most people probably do. But for me, it was a bit like it was sort of like an aha moment. I was like, oh yeah, we don't have to have like X amount of houses. We just need the population. So once the meter is unlocked and it fills up, then we can get rid of them. And that way you're just reducing the amount of, the reason you do all this is to reduce the amount of demands you're putting on yourself if you want to. So we'll just speed up time, let these guys do their things. We have gas on its way once it comes up here, which is just right here right now. Here's one I made earlier. We'll just hand that in and we'll build 3. Can we get 3? We can only get 2 right now. That's fine. I didn't bring enough sails. That's obviously going to cost us 400 technicians. Why is it 400? That seems like a lot. It is 400. Wow. Okay. Well, to do that, I basically just turn off the gold mines, from what I remember. Did they increase that number? That seems pretty high. 400. I thought it was 100. Maybe 2. Yeah, I thought it was 200 because I'm so sure that I was able to turn off these 2 gold mines and that transferred it quite nicely, but it's okay. So we need to get rid of another 400.
Is there something wrong with the way I'm doing?
There's nothing wrong with the way you're doing anything. Let's turn off the parkas. We don't make enough of them anyway, so just keep that paused. Alright, so they're going to work on that now. 15 minutes for each one. There's going to be 2 new airships. Now, while we're doing that, maybe we'll just have a look around for some of that debris.
Dirigibbling.
So I'll just send them out to the fog. We'll see if we can find some lost expedition scrap. So what are they on now? 688. Can we upgrade them yet? Not yet. Just waiting to upgrade these last few houses. So we'll just keep time sped up. Let's follow our airship to the north. Thanks for all the kind words, by the way, on the last episode. I feel like it was, I was just getting used to the save file and everything again, but I feel like I'm in the swing of things now, where I know what I want to do. I have a few goals to do to keep us busy and keep doing stuff before the next DLC comes out. And lots of different areas to kind of do time lapses. Can't have the whole episode be a time lapse. It would take me like so long.
And my critics say I don't take enough risks.
All right, let's see. Let's get that back. Yeah, just people being really, really kind. So just want to say thank you. I did read the the episode came out today as of me recording this one. So I just want to say thanks. So it's only been out for a few hours, so it's just the first few comments. Sorry if I've missed anything. Not seeing much, man. We do have Santa's little grotto there, which you've of course seen before. Damn, not very lucky at all. What the hell? Not seeing anything. There we go. And this is why I'll do this in between, because it's just literally like just clicking around to get the bare minimum, and we need, I think I need about 100 of that to make everything I want, so it could take a while. So I'll just leave this ship up here, and I'll revisit it later. How we doing now? Alright, we've got our upgrade. Let's do it. Boom. So that should push us now to 750 once they grow the rest of the way. I think. Please hope so anyway. Hope I didn't cut it short by one house, because that'd be so annoying. Just in case, I'll just build one right now. Just in case. I didn't build very efficiently here though, because the there's nowhere to really put down another house. Could stick it like right in there. That would be really weird. But it's just to get the population where I need it to be, and then we can change things. We're at 746 right now. This is at 16. Is this new one at 16? No, I think we'll get it then. Alright, forget that house. That's fine. So there we go. Right? We just need one more person. We're at 740. There we go. 750. So now we're deploying the Husky sleds to everybody. And in doing that, our population should rise by another 300 or something. So while we're waiting, let's get building out. Build a little road all the way out here. Travel down this really narrow little kind of, I don't know, almost alleyway or corridor. Natural corridor. And there we are, we're out. I think to get these though, they're like, you need 2 gas mines. There's no way I'm building 2. Ah, you're kidding. You're killing me, man. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Oh, it's the worst. Can we move these? Oh, you can't move them. God damn. Well, we can get 2 more, you know, without settling another island. God, that's horrible, isn't it? I bet the developers had a great laugh doing that. It's like, oh, they'll love this one. Alright, well, 2 it is. 2 might be enough, you know. It might be. It will require a warehouse just down here. So let's get that. Let's get a ranger station just in case. Rangers lead the way. And we can pretty much build this. We're already up to 180 extra. This is going to cost 250. Do we need something else? I feel like I need something else. What am I missing? Nothing, right? Oh, heating, of course, yeah. A burner. Actually, I'm going to put it there. Alright, we're at -30 now. But with those extra gas mines up and running, and maybe you could deploy, I don't think we should, but you could deploy like a a trade union on top of this one and boost it. What could we boost it by? We can boost it by, I think it's about 25% or something. So 20% plus 40%. So we can actually get 60 out of it.
I find
Might be
the
worth
safety
doing.
bubbles a bit ridiculous myself.
It's just productivity's falling just a little bit because obviously we ran out of technicians there, but they're coming back up. What are we up to now? Let's see how many we're missing. Yeah, we should be able to hit the amount we need actually. And then it's all about seeing like, can we meet the demands of this? So we're down to -8. Alright, we're positive now. So again, for if this goes every 20 this goes over, I can get rid of houses. So we can get rid of at least one house. Having about 21 house free is good though, because otherwise if you have sickness or something you could get problems.
The temperature is bearable.
Well, there you go. I think I did it pretty well. Fair enough, right? We have plus 24. That's about the same as what's on Hopefell. Yeah, almost. Cool. Alrighty then. Of course you could do a, yeah, like building the town around this place. You could have the Arctic Lodge like there, or you know, somewhere like, I don't know, here or there. Something like that. As long as it covers the gas mine building plus a bunch of houses, then you could say like, well, we can get more productivity and more workforce out of the people that are already here, thus reducing the amount of houses, because this does that, right? We get 15% workforce. So maybe I will do it, you know, for one extra one, it might be worth it. But the real big question is, are we making enough now? And we're actually not. We're just shy. So I think we would need that. But again, to get these items, we're going to have to get a bunch of expedition scrap. So that's just the kind of thing I'll have to do in between episodes. So we need the gritty gas extractor. And for those wondering, you cannot boost the workforce like through other means. So I guess actually just while I'm here then, knowing that I'm going to have to put this down and encompass, it's going to have to go at least there. So I'm going to have to reorganize this a little bit. Maybe I'll just move the canteen out. Yeah, arguably that goes up way too far. Oh no, it actually has to go up a bit further. Yeah, so it's still touching the gas mine, so that's good. Arctic Lodge can slot in there. And does that cover all the houses? It almost covers every single house. If we just fix the roads a bit. Man, it's not a easy place to build. Kinda like it when it gets all messy though. Does that do it? That seems like it'll do it. This house maybe not. We'll have to see. If that's the case, you could just move this maybe. And how's this doing? Does this reach everything? Oh, it actually doesn't. Yikes. Okay. So for the canteen to reach everybody, we'll just have to move these a bit. Okay. So those ones are out. Okay, well let's just figure this out. There has to be a way to do this. Let's cut that in.
I have to think what's best for us.
That one's in, that one's in. So these two aren't. Okay, they're both in. That's not going to go anywhere. Yeah, we're just shy of being able to include it there. So let's move this down. And that should go there. I think that basically works then. That is every house, barring this one included. And then yeah, this needs heat. The ranger station needs heat. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they kind of work that out themselves. Okay then, well the warehouse can move. We can bring this in. Warehouse doesn't need heat. wasting valuable heating space by having it there. That was probably the most obvious move I should have done early. Is that it then? That seems like it. So, we could get this, just pop it down now anyway, why not? And then we just know that we have to deliver productivity boost to this. So, I'll just quickly have a look and see, do we have anything sitting idly by here? So, Arctic Lodge items. Oh, we can search. I doubt it's going to be here, but we'll just type gas mine. Yeah, so I don't have anything here. Well, do we have a workforce, maybe? So productivity, so workforce reduced, but it depends on the building. Same with this. Yeah, kind of same with all of those. So we'll just have to go over to your boy,
Heading set.
Nath, and pick up what we can from him. Alright, we'll just speed it up. I think I might have to leave it there, actually. It seems like we're almost at the hour mark. Oh, she's just dropped off some scrap for us right here. Sweet. And then what I'll do is I'll just use my fleet of airships and just move up and down, like combing the entire fog of war out here. And hopefully find everything I can. And then I'll just come back, and in the next episode we'll craft some items, we'll bring it up, we'll push the gas mine to its limit, and we'll just keep an eye on how the goods are, you know. We just went from 1 coal mine, or coal heater, to 3, so I do worry that with only 250 storage, and that is the max storage here, that it's going to be a struggle. So we got 3, we got 13. So just quickly have a look at the items that we need, basically. We need, I want airship items, but also we're going to want the workforce plus 15%, if we could get that. All Arctic production buildings 20%, so we want that one, and then we want just the gas mine thing. So that's 50 scrap. This is 10 scrap, and that's 10 scrap. So we can already make one of them. We just need to deliver some brass and stuff like that. And then when I get the workforce, 15% extra workforce out of that little pocket here, that'll give us enough to maybe get rid of 1 or 2 houses and just like hopefully not go too crazy with what we're consuming now. So this has gone way low, right? We used to have enough for that. We used to have more than we needed, but now we don't for Huskies. So I might have to look into that. Pemmican is still okay. Oil is still okay. And that's actually just full right now, so that's fine. And we'll have to see how it handles on the other stuff. It's too hard to track the other things unless we just look at it globally. But I'm pretty happy. Look at this. So like we're super solid for balance. We're super solid for population. Nothing really fluctuating. Very proud of that. I think it looks good. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. And then in the next one, I think we're going to redo all these trade routes in the north. Or not maybe redo them all, but like just streamline it. Optimize it. Efficiency.
An explosion in one of your factories.
Oh my god, one of the mines exploded. The new one just exploded, just like that. Good thing we have the guys right here, though. Pick up the snow. Just throw it on it. God damn. But at least, so I think still in the meantime, what I'm going to do is turn this off. Keep this off.
No.
And it means that our gas mines in the old world, because basically we have 4, shouldn't go offline. Because they were about to. They were pretty close to doing it. Where is it? Investors. Here. So we have one right here. This one powering the World's Fair in this entire area. Obviously not the best idea to tuck one at the very edge of the map. But, you know, this is an aesthetic playthrough, not an optimal playthrough. So, we're trying to build beautifully and then figure out how to make that work. So that's working. We have the one that's in the center of the high-rise towns as well. And that reaches, as long as our attractiveness stays over 11,000, that reaches all the way down to the bottom. The next one then is here. And that basically covers the entire block of the town here and most of the town out here. Obviously, the artisans don't need it.
The fire service. They help me a lot.
And then the last one is within the palace grounds itself, supplying all the scholars. Now, do scholars even need electricity? Yeah, I guess they do. Okay, good. Alright, well, that's going to be it. Sorry again if I sounded weird in this one. I really don't know how it's going to sound. Hopefully it's all good. And I hope people enjoy the time-lapse. And I'm so glad to be back doing the series. And I can't wait to do even more, and I'm really looking forward to what they come out with for the, I guess, the final slew of DLCs. And I'm looking forward to that industrial pack too. So yeah, the Satisfactory episode should be going out soon, at least as of recording this one. So I'm looking forward to seeing the reception to that. Some people are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna check it out. So hopefully it'll be good. And yeah, again, thank you so much for all the love, kindness, and support. Also, if you are a subscriber, or if you are a channel member, you do have access to my Discord. We're hosting multiplayer games in there, not for Anno actually at the moment, but just for different things, and trying to build a bit more of a closer community in there. So if you feel like you're looking for a community just to chat with, talk about Anno or other games too, also see some game deals, whatever the case might be, they're fairly welcoming. Trying to instill in them to be nice and welcoming. So consider linking your account over there if you want to join the conversation. Alright, that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you want to support the channel directly, you can click the join button to become a channel member. Doing so will get your name in the credits, as well as loyalty badges and emotes to use in the comments. You'll also get exclusive access to my Discord, where there's dedicated channels for each series I'm doing, and it's a great place just to meet others and make some friends.